and you're wrecking shaman. And then like the other 50%, you're like struggling to, like get the right cards. You're not getting Doomsayer on turns 2 or 3, and not getting Twilight Drakes or anything. And then, you end up losing those. So it's hard to be consistent with that deck. Like you really have to grind out shit with that deck.
But like one of the things that, like let's talk about the broader, like the priest class in general. It's not so much like one of the things Blizzard has to be very concerned about is just how much they want to give to priests, because we've seen in the past, like when Entomb was around, and it just got released, and we had Noxious and GVG. Priest was actually on the brink of potentially becoming like aggravatingly good, because with Light Bomb and Entomb and everything else, like they end up having so much removal and that they're consistently drawing out games to fatigue every single time, and that really makes for a terrible experience if you're looking to enjoy any control deck. Because as long as Entomb lives and Light Bomb exists in the same class, they coexist in the same meta, then it's really difficult for other control decks to ever even come up. And like they can't give priests too much good stuff, because then they really bog down the game to an anti-fun, where it's just about, well, can I steal your stuff?
Yeah.
And you can't remove me off the board. Because like the hero power for priests, if they get good board minions, basically, is so powerful. I don't remember the last time I've seen, like we talk about Zoo as being a board control, tempo deck, but very often, like if you get one big minion as priest and they've got nothing, they're never getting back on, ever. It's not happening. And if they like priests get those broken 2 drops, broken 3 drops, then and that becomes a reality, then it just becomes a very stale game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, but I do think it's a tricky problem that the designers have, because, like you said, inherently the healing hero power is great for any kind of board on board type of battling and just board control type of situations. And once you've established it, you all of a sudden you're able to snowball a little bit more with that hero power. But at the same time, it's just like people know that, right? So they remove minions off of like boards. Like highest priority against priests is like getting those bodies off of the board, and therefore the hero power is like worthless at that point. Unlike a shaman or a paladin, you're just throwing bodies on the board or something, like, or even armor, or even like a druid, just 1 armor, you get some value from it. So it's like part of me thinks that we do need more minions like Lada Naru and Holy Champion, where they gain something from it. It's not Inspire. They actually gain something from healing. And you can possibly work in some aggro decks that we talked about. But it's tough. It's really scary, if you go too far overboard with it. At this point, I think we should do it, though. We should just do it. Like if it breaks priest, then it breaks priest, and then we fix it later.
From above.
Like it's
costs 0 for each time you heal.
That is crazy.
Like this game, and you can make, I don't know. It's just they push Shaman really hard because they saw the class was in a really awkward spot. Funny enough, they did it without touching Doomhammer, which I find hilarious. Because we just lost everything in pre. We lost Deathlord, we lost Velen's Chosen, we lost Light Bomb, we lost Dark Cultist if we ever planned to play. We lost fucking everything, and then we get like Powered Tentacles and Cthulhu shit. I'm like, oh wow, well, thanks for that. Yes, because the Murloc meta was really gonna come out. It was so obvious. Those Shaman Totems, that's probably what it's meant to kill. Except now their minions are never 2 and below. Everything Shaman has, like their Trog is at least 3 by the time you're getting to turn 4. If not, it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
It's Trog that's the big problem. Yeah,
but it's just like the entire curving feels like, oh yeah, horror should make sense against Shaman. It used to be the case that you would always get value. Now it's like, yeah, no, I'm gonna kill like an imp with this against Zoo, and I'm gonna kill a Flame Tongue Totem with this against Shaman, and that is it. So
what if Shadow Word Horror was 3 and below?
Sure.
And not 2.
Go ahead.
That would be awesome, right?
That.
Yeah.
Yep.
God, I kind of wish it was that. I hate playing Excavated Evil. I really hate that card.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it.
Yeah, it never feels good, man. Even when I remove the board, it's just like shit. Now you can use it against me too, but it's like it's some fatigue matchup, right? And I give them another card. It's kind of like, oh gosh. So it would be cool if they could do something to horror to to be that secondary removal or that other removal with Nova. Yeah, that would definitely help. But I do agree with you, Noxious. They took away everything. We talked about this like multiple times on the show already. They took away all the fundamental mid-range potential of staying in, and then they added things that were just later, like which is like Alchemist and the Tentacles. You know, it's just like that's not going to happen if we don't have any minions to actually buff. But what do you think of Forbidden Shaping though, Zetalot? Because, you know, a lot of people have played around with it. You know, the whole discussion of 8 drops are almost always good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. I played actually a lot with that.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time it's reasonable, but in some cases you just get something really, really bad.
Boogie
you lose
Monster.
the game because of it.
Yeah, I know. I think, and just the archetype doesn't really fit, right? Like we're not playing some kind of greedy control type of priest at the end either.
Yeah, you don't need that in late game most of the time because you have Entomb, so you win fatigue game anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Noxious is thinking. Look at him. He's
yeah,
thinking.
I'm thinking because like I look at Forbidden Shaping and it's obvious they wanted to give us like a flexible card. But
Flexible
the issue
body,
is
right? Yeah.
right, like you can play it on 2 or 3 or 4, but then you look at like whenever it's turn 2, you're like, I could get Novice Engineer. Like why would I get like a Piloted Shredder Death Rattle? I could get something great, I'm sure, like a Totem Golem with that Overload, holy shit. But I could also get a Novice Engineer. And just because of that possibility, you're never playing it anywhere but like 6, 8. And like anything but 8 feels bad, even if it's acceptable, like on many other spots.
Yeah.
Like everything else feels horrible. And on 8, sometimes you'll just get something that doesn't have much of an impact. Even if you get like a good minion.
You know what would be a good idea for Forbidden Shaping? Maybe they just give us +1 mana value on the you know, what you spend it on, right? So if you spend it on turn 2, you get a 3-drop instead of a 2-drop.
That's like Unstable Portal level broke, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
I know, but you know, like
I'm not sure.
if this is the replacement for, you know, basically taking away all the all the minions away, right? I think, like you said, when we spend Forbidden Shaping, you're never going to get on average, you're never going to get a minion that's actually worth that mana value, because there's a lot of battle cries that you're not going to get, and you know, the only thing that you'll get consistently is like Death Rattle minions and things like that, right? So generally speaking, that card is never worth the mana that you spend. That might be the case for most. I mean, most, if not all, the forbidden cards too. But that one in particular, I think, for what Priest needs right now, I feel like could use something like that. I mean, we're talking about broken things anyways, guys, right? We're talking about adding something that's just broken to Priest to make it good again. And I think, yeah, that's something that might be just easy to try.
Making Priest great again. I don't know. It's never been, so I can't speak.
I know. Zayla, has it ever been good? Like
Undertaker. Only when Death Rattle was the thing.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Even when Death Rattle was a thing, I mean, Hunter was always better, anyways. You know, you're talking about with like Undertaker and stuff, right? That age, yeah. Dragon had its moment too. I mean, some people did play Dragon in competitive early on, but overall, yeah, Priest is probably the class that's had the least amount of like just success from the historically speaking. That needs to change, man. I mean,
I look at like let's look at the card like Confuse, right? It's gonna be a bit of a tangent. It has nothing to do with the current expansion, but a card like Confuse could literally be an archetype maker, right? Like that card could on its own just make an entire archetype, but unfortunately, it's not the case because we can't keep anything alive that has high health ever. And if it's got high health, it needs to have low attack. If it has low attack, everybody runs everything into it, so it doesn't live, and then Confuse is useless. So it's just like one of those cards that seems like it should be so sick on paper, and it was good when we had Deathlord with Tournament Medic in the same meta. You could make those decks work. Right now,
it's same with the Herald, the new Priest Legendary. Like, you never have board control to make it broken.
Yeah, Herald's this card, guys. If you guys... Yeah, this is like, I think almost like a win more type of card in some ways. If you're playing the Zoth or something, you have all those Death Rattles. It's just like, all right, well, it stayed on the board, so now I get to just win, you know, basically. Yeah, this is not quite the card we needed either.
Yeah,
almost I mean, never have minions on the board.
One of the tweaks that I suggested a while back to make priests maybe like give them a 2-drop was to make convert, reduce the cost of the minion you copied by 2. So you pay 2 for convert, you copy whatever they've got, and then it costs you 2 less, which is the cost of convert itself. So if you're on turn 8, they play Rag, you can copy it, and it will cost you 2 less, and you have your own chance to play it. But like it could be played early game, you could restrict it to cheap minions, or you could have like a faceless card that copies something lower than, let's say, 4 mana, so you always have something to play if they have something to play. But as it stands, it's like you're always missing that initiative, or at least a good answer to get on the board without trying to get a board clear first.
Yeah, and again, we don't have like great removal, just like clean, clear removal to be that greedy too with convert, right? It's tough. It's like we have all these cards that give us card value or just like just card power, but we just don't ever have the ability to play it, or we don't get tempo to be able to even play them.
So, like everything is slow.
Yeah,
every card
everything is slow. Yeah,
like Shadow Form, for example. When can you play Shadow Form?
Some people been trying, like the whole Cthulhu.
2 of them.
Just
you're supposed to play 2. That's the worst part. Is you're supposed to have 2 copies of it in your deck.
That's true.
Like the design of it doesn't say like play 1. It says literally, oh yeah, if you play 1, you want to be playing the second copy because that would just make it so much better. But then like you play 1, it feels really bad. You play a second one, it feels even worse. Like why would I ever Blizzard?
They like Mad Scientist with Shadow Form, like same stats as Mad Scientist, but you get Shadow Form
instead. Absolutely, I agree.
Oh,
that's one of the 2 drops that I'd like to see in Priest is like it's a 2-mana 2/2 that gives you either puts it in your hand as a free card, or it literally turns you into evil Anduin.
Oh, that'd be pretty sweet, actually.
Yeah,
that would help a lot.
That looks like a good card. We can't have that.
Well, they'll have to they'll have to do something enormous like that, I think, for the next release. Because, yeah, I think Priest is just way behind at this point. We see so many different archetypes for all the classes right now. You know, even Cthulhu Priest, somebody just tweeted, let's see, Volta Hanslik just tweeted, what about Cthulhu Priest? You know, he's seen that a few times on deck. But Cthulhu Priest is, like, probably one of the worst Cthulhu decks that you can play. Like, right? I mean, it's
the worst. Like, think on those words. Is it the worst?
Out of all the classes? Maybe Shaman's worse. But like
I would say Warlock is probably a bit worse as well. I mean, not the Reno type, but like just a pure Cthulhu all in. I think Warlock might be in
but nobody does that.
Like,
everybody does like, you know, Cthulhu with Jiraxis and Reno. You know, it's
sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Zetalot, what do you think of Cthulhu Priest?
Well, it's same as Dragon Priest. Like you drop minions on the board. Nothing to think about.
Yeah, that's
eventually you get Cthulhu and win the game or lose.
And you never win the game. Yogg-Saron is more likely to win you a game than Cthulhu and Priest. Like that's how much like Cthulhu Priest is bad. In my mind, I can't comprehend the use of that. Like the thing is, they have so many goods. Like when I saw the 4-mana 3/6 that they got for Cthulhu, I was like, oh my god, we have a playable 4-drop in the class. And then I played it in Cthulhu decks and it sucked. And I played it outside of Cthulhu decks and it still sucked. And I was like, you know what, this is hopeless. Never mind Priest. Like we need earlier than 4 because we're okay on 4. We've got good stuff there now. It's just everything else is horrendous.
Yeah,
it's like we can kill 2 and 5. Like we can kill 3 and 5, but we have all the 4s. Like, give me minions to contest the 3s and 5s. That's what I want.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's just the general consensus. We just need more minions. We've been talking about it for a while. Need a 2, probably need a 5, need a 3. I mean, Injured Blade Master works, but it's so situational, and Circle, it requires us to use Circle or Flash, and that already has, you know, all these cards have, like, we need more of these cards because they have multi-function at this point. Like Circles, man, it like pains me sometimes to use Circle on Injured Blade Master, knowing that I can't clear board with you know, Soul Priest. So it's just like, this Injured Blade Master better do serious work, or else that's like really a tough investment. But you have to do it. You know what I mean? Like that's just, there are definitely times that you draw cards at certain situations. You just have to do it.
I mean, like I was co-op grinding to top 100 yesterday, which failed miserably. Obviously, I was doing this with Priest with a friend, and we ended up running into like nothing but Shaman, Warrior, Rogue, and Hunter. Funny enough, Hunters were there. Like, don't ask me. Well, I guess the top 100 push makes people swap to Hunter. But we were co-oping this, and like it went okay. But as soon as Miracle Rogue came in, it literally dumped the legend points. Like that's the big issue. Is there's like for ladder purposes, if you have one deck that is super polarized against you, then it's even tougher to justify it. And we ran into like just enough of them that top 100 was always like out of reach. We always back down to like 350 or like 500, and we climb back up 180 and then back down. It's like this grind just never stops, and I feel Priest just has those polarized matchups way too often for it to feel
That's just
good.
gonna happen though, right? I mean, if it didn't happen, then everybody would be playing the same decks, right? So,
well, I mean, I think Priest has it rougher because they already struggle against like the average matchup, and then you run into Miracle Rogue and it's just, well, let me leave this match.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, why don't we let's see. Why don't we see if there's any questions? We can look in Twitch chat. Actually, Noxious, you want to look in Twitch chat, and then you guys, you can tweet me at ChanManV, and we can take some questions today with Zetalot about Priest. And you know, future, just like the upcoming episodes, we'll probably just try to spotlight, you know, each of the classes a bit, just so we can really dig into them. Oh, you know what? We never talked about your Yogg deck either. Let's take a look at this.
It's not refined at all yet, but you can take a look at it if you want. It's mostly for fun, obviously. As it seems most.
It is a Yogg deck after all.
Yeah, I mean, it is running Mind Vision just for fun, because it gives me something to do on turn 1 as Priest, which very often I don't. And sometimes, guess what? You find a 2-drop. I ended up cutting Northshire Cleric out of this list. I'm thinking of adding the Wild Pyros in, since I play so many spells, keeping the Northshires and modifying the list around. I tried Emperor Thorson, and he turned out to be really bad in this list. I tried Velen with Mind Blast, and that turned out to spread the deck too thin, unless I made a pure like combo Priest with Yogg sprinkled in.
Yeah.
So I ended up going full control, basically. Embrace the Shadow, Flash Heals. I wish I had Light of the Naru, but I don't. And Yogg is literally your only way to win, almost. Yeah. Unless you get like the Flash Heal.
There's just too many spells.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like I modified the deck a lot. This is like the.
There's so many Priest spells that are just you just can't even use, man. It's like it's so sad.
Convert. I was. It's like the initial list had like 2 Doomsayers, 2 Resurrects, and that was it for minions. Like that was all we had, and that was fun for the time it lasted.
Well, why doesn't Priest? I'm trying to think. Is Priest the only class that doesn't have a spell that draws cards?
They've got Master Spell and Powered Shield.
Oh, Master Spell. Yeah. Sorry.
The Powered Shield as well.
Just not that really much though. Just one. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, Powered Shield definitely is the main thing. But we need more of those, man. I think we need more. I don't know, just more impactful spells right now with the Priest card. Okay, we got a question from Epinator. Do you guys think Priest should have better early game minions or better mid game board clears? Okay, I guess he's maybe asking which one's more important, early game minions or better mid game clear. So would you rather have a broken 2-drop or a light bomb? What do you think?
Broken 2-drop.
Broken 2-drop. All right. Yeah. I like tend to say light bomb, but that's just because I don't quite. I don't know. I haven't quite experienced the greatness of a broken 2-drop in Priest.
If you have broken 2-drop, then you won't need that light bomb later.
Exactly. Yeah. You just trade it up and you keep it healed up and alive for the rest of the game, and it's your light bomb for like 5 turns.
Yeah.
Effectively.
Okay.
Well, maybe not 5 turns, but.
Yeah. True. Let's see any other. Let's look at the Twitch chat. See what there's questions are. Yeah, just go ahead and ask some questions in the Twitch chat, and we'll take a few.
Yeah, somebody's asking Holy Nova versus Excavated Evil. I think at this point, if Nova dealt 3 damage and healed for 3, we'd be actually okay. Because I wouldn't have to wonder which one I prefer, and it might give me that better board clear in the mid game. So if I have to choose, I guess it depends on the deck I'm running, but very often in controls it'll be like evil. And if I'm playing for the board at all, then like Nova, but I won't feel happy about it. Zetalot, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually don't like evil that much. Like every time I go to fatigue, evil is just screwing me over, and I lose the game because of it.
Okay.
But when I play Baymasters and Clerics, then I try to play Nova.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's see. We got a question. What do you guys think of Twisted Worgen in a priest deck?
So Flame Juggler has a 50-50 to kill it, so I say have fun running coin flips. That's really it. Like, I tried Twisted Worgen as a removal tool in priest as like a pseudo Dark Bomb, where you just kind of put it down and have it ready to trade.
Yeah.
But because a Flame Juggler, you can't do that.
Yeah. Agreed.
Might play that too, I guess, against Warlock.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Dan Man, thoughts on... So this is a non-priest card, I guess. Thoughts on Anomalous? I guess that's a priest. That's a priest legendary.
The mage card.
Yeah, the
mage.
Yeah, it's not per priest. The mage card. Yeah, so that just does 8 damage to across the board or whatever. Yeah, what do you guys think of that? I mean, I think we talked about it maybe being good in Freeze Mage in the past, but haven't seen anybody try it in Freeze Mage. And
it lost me a game once because I got it out of Forbidden Shaping on turn 8, and that was it.
Oh, that's bad. That's definitely
good. That's good stuff. That's what we're talking about on the priest episode. It's like everything's a priest card. What do you think about Darkshire Councilman?
Yeah. Here's a good one: Resurrect Priest with Doomsayer and Blade Master value. What do you guys think of that? I've definitely done that in the past. I've done that.
Yeah, that's what I was running the most, actually. Like in the era of Naxxramas GVG, I was running a Resurrect Priest, where with Confuse, when the goal was to get Doomsayers out, you resurrect them, or you get Death Lords and Tournament Medics, and eventually you confuse them to death by resurrecting your 8 health dudes. But nowadays it's not very doable. The Blade Master approach, like, I don't know how viable it is. It's kind of like very often you'll whiff. Like if you play Pyro at all, you're screwed. You play Shadow Madness, you're screwed. There's so much you can play that just gives you a bad resurrect. So you'd have to like limit what you play very, very severely.
I mean, Pyromancer is not that bad, I guess. Like you have always this 1 damage AoE, then you can combo to clear the board.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see, what's next? What's your opinion? Actually, Resurrect N'Zoth Priest. Yeah, that's interesting. Somebody that's, I think, SB Wayne 13 just suggesting that. That's kind of cool. I never tried that actually. I think you're likely to have all those like loot hoarders and things as possibilities, but you're not losing value at least whenever you use it. Design. Okay, so a couple questions. Design the ideal 2-drop, priest 2-drops. That's what we've been talking about. Noxious mentioned one that's just damages itself, I guess, over time. And
I prefer the immune to minion damage one.
Yeah, immune
or
to
the
minion
shadow
damage
form one.
Yeah,
I'll take either.
Okay, I think that's cool. I mean, it has to have some kind of cool element to it, otherwise it's boring as heck. Zetalot, what about you? What do you think?
I would go for the shadow form one with like
shadow form,
which
Dead
Rattle gives you shadow form.
That would be a nice card for priest, and a cool way of doing it too. Instead of just like, hey, you get a 2/5 2-drop.
It's pretty vanilla, right? It's like you're brute forcing stats. It's like giving someone a 4-mana 7/7 to make them good.
Yeah,
like it works, but it's not very fun or interesting.
Yeah. How good is Cabal Shadow Priest right now by Faith or Fatigue?
Oh god,
crazy good, right?
Best priest card probably.
Yep.
Yeah,
like that's
crazy.
Your reason to play priest probably because of Cabal Shadow Priest.
Stealing Bloodhoof Braves, oh baby, that's the good feelings. So
the best thing is when they try to enrage them and you heal it back. And
oh my god,
yes! Oh, I love that play too, dude.
They're so sneaky. They're like,
good.
oh, I'm gonna force the Shadow Word Death out of them. You're like, nope, that's not gonna work.
That's right.
Feels good, man.
This is a good question. This is particularly good for newer players. Thunderflame asks, when is the right time to play Northshire Cleric?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Zetalot.
This is all you.
Well, it depends from the matchup. It really depends. And from your hand also. Like, if you have no follow-up, then most of the time it's not gonna do anything. But if you have like Parrot Shield or Playmaster Circle of Feeling on the way, even Pyromancer with something, then it's pretty good then on like early turn 1.
I guess I guess another way to word the question is, do you only play it when you can guarantee a card draw?
No, I often play it like without getting anything, but eventually I will still get the value because it's just so good.
Okay.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, the turn 2 powered shield with it is usually really good. Here's a question: do you coin into cleric powered shield, or do you just pass and then play cleric powered shield on turn 2?
Depends from the matchup. Like against warrior, you always have to shield.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's see. What do you think about the legendary sisters in a priest deck? Which one's the legendary sisters?
Oh,
you're talking about
gone.
Oh, you're talking about oh, yeah. You're talking about those two.
It was okay, but Balance Chosen is gone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We got owned.
If Valen's Chosen was still there, I mean, even when Valen's Chosen was there, almost nobody played
They were
it,
bad,
right?
so
Like, yeah,
imagine
nobody played
then.
it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so this is a good one too. Flamehawk asked about Shadow Word Pain. Isn't Shadow Word Pain good now against all classes, especially like Shaman? I don't see it often in Zetalot's decks. That's a good point too. I play it quite a bit too. So
I mean, sometimes I play like one copy, but most of the time I just don't play it, and I'm still doing okay. So, but yeah, it's good, of course.
Yeah.
In this meta, it's really good.
It answers. It's like the one card that answers Tunnel Drog and answers Totem Golem in the first 2 turns.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where like Shadow Word Pain is good, but if you're like cautious enough and like greedy enough, and you mulligan properly every time, then Pyromancer can often do it. And the thing is, like the matchups where you're gonna get completely destroyed if you don't have Pain are probably bad matchups anyway. So like Shadow Word Paining a Totem Golem, I mean, it feels good. Don't get me wrong, but there's a Flame Tongue that's gonna hit the Trog, and then you're back to exactly where you were with 1 Pain gone, and you still haven't gotten that Pyro AoE. So very often you might as well have Silence to just get an extra 1 damage to everything. Not necessarily Silence, but Holy Smite
Just
might
anything,
do better.
yeah.
Just
Any
because of
cheap
that.
spell, right? Or coin
Right,
and
but-
whatever. Yeah.
But it is good. Like, it's not a bad card. It's just I feel like it's card disadvantage that doesn't get you the tempo back like too often.
It's one of those things too. It's like when you have too much removal, and that was the beauty of Light Bomb, right? Because Light Bomb basically covered 2 to 4, cards that we would use to remove individual cards, versus a whole board. Like if you get caught with too many of these spells, then that's like your entire hand. Your entire hands are a bunch of these removal cards, and that's so situational, and you just get into big problems that way. Let's see. All right, still looking. How good is Shadow Madness? Oh, this is something I've been playing around with too. Generally in the metagame, you guys actually like Shadow Madness?
I play it sometimes, but it's like always 1 copy. You never play 2 copies.
Yeah.
I like it against like Hunter when they play Freezing Trap, so you can get something back.
It's good against the Wolf too. The Wolf's nice too.
Yes and no, right? Like they don't kill each other.
Yeah.
That's my big problem. Or are you talking about the Infested Wolf? and
Infested
Hunter,
Wolf. Infested Wolf.
Okay, yeah, I thought you were talking about Feral Spirit for a second.
Oh no. Oh, then Feral Spirit's only good when you have like Pyro with it, right?
It's horrible. Yeah, but like that's exactly why it's bad.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. I tend to use Shadow Madness with Pyro. That ends up fixing a lot of the healths and damages a lot of times. So it's not as good as you. I guess the answer to that question, it's not as good as you think against like Shaman and even Zoo, which are 2 very very popular decks. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's up there from the standpoint of cards in your deck. How about a couple more here, and then we'll call it a day. Okay. What about Ancient Watcher with Silence in that Faceless deck?
I tried, but
Let's look at
like
that
it wasn't
Faceless
good
deck.
enough. yeah, it wasn't good enough in most of the cases. So I just played only every statue or these Frost Giants or Twilight Drake version too. But yeah, just Watchers weren't good enough.
Okay. Another Cthulhu Priest. What's up with Cthulhu Priest? Should have been a priest card. Okay, so here's a question from Sin Popeyes. What card is currently not a priest card should have been a priest card? So
Okay,
he gives an example of Forbidden Healing. That sort of thing.
Forbidden Healing and Priest would be so ridiculous. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Soul Priest die.
That'd be great though, just to witness. But...
Embrace the shadow and then you just die. So.
What about the 4-mana card that Shaman has? The one that changed a minion into 1 cost more?
I think that would have been a much
Evolution?
better priest card.
You have like Shadow Madness something and steal it.
Master of
Evolution.
Evolution.
Recombobulator 2.0, right? Like you just it's kind of funny because like that could have probably been a priest card. I would have also liked the Shaman card they got, like Halaziel. Could have been fun if we had like more spells that could actually kill stuff like Holy Fire. But since we only have like Mind Blast for phase damage or Holy Smite, like we're missing the synergy there. But it would have been nice to have something like that.
Yeah, I think those are all good.
Shadowcaster. See, there we go.
Oh, Shadowcaster. Yes, Shadowcaster.
I mean, maybe that should have been a priest
Oh my
card.
god, it's even called Shadowcaster. I mean, right? I mean, the name is totally.
You gotta give it to me, man.
Yes, man. It's all you right there. Okay, RH1100L asks, Ixar, obviously one of the Blizzard design balancing on the balance team, has specified that they never actually liked that Light Bomb was not only viable, but a 2-off in every priest deck, or 2 of in every priest deck, and that they won't print anything close to it again. Priest only hope is a good 2-drop. Okay. That sucks, if that's what he said.
So you mean that like double circle is like fine everywhere, double Arcanized fine everywhere, the double Pyro is fine everywhere, double Injured, double no... Like, is that fine? Because, I mean, that logic doesn't stand on its own fucking feet. I'm sorry, like, I'm getting salty about this because, like, they've repeatedly stated that there are cards that are okay with having 2-ofs everywhere, but, like, why not Light
Double
Bomb?
Innervate in every trade deck ever.
Double Brawl, Control Warrior, double Shield Slam, like, what the fuck? Like, I know, I'm sorry, that's not good. That's not good enough. Not for me, at least. I'm not buying that argument. It's not. It's not good.
Just to be devil's advocate.
It's not enough elaborated, I guess. If they elaborate on it, I could get behind it. But as a standalone, like retort, it's not sufficient.
Well, let's just devil's advocate and like throw out that. I mean, Light Bomb does remove any power of card, right?
Sure.
So anything that's like, I mean, it could remove a Deathwing, 10 mana card. It could remove, a Wisp, a 0-mana card. So, I think maybe that's where they're going. Like when you can just have one card that literally removes the board that has just immense amount of mana value. You can't say that with any other cards. Like the Circle example you gave.
Nether.
Yeah, but Twisting Nether costs.
Brawl kind of does it. I mean, it's just one of those things where, like, I get their argument, but, like, Elemental Destruction exists for Control Shamans who want to play it. Yes, they have to un-overload.
Yeah.
And that's so sad for them. Poor dudes, they have only 4 cards that do that. Like, it's just one of those situations where, like, they haven't elaborated enough that we can absolutely know what they mean. I understand what you're saying, like, oh, it kills anything, and that's bad. But, like, it's like you complain about Shadow Word Horror, right? Let's assume somebody complained and bitches about Shadow Word Horror killing their 2 attack or less minion. Well, play shit with 3. Light Bomb, play shit that has more health than attack. There we go. We're done.
Yeah.
It's indiscriminate, but at the same time, like, if Brawl isn't, then like I don't know.
Yeah, actually Brawl's pretty close. Yeah, that's definitely a good argument.
Sure.
Brawl and Coliseum's not nearly as good, but Brawl is definitely pretty close to Light Bomb. Actually, somebody threw out a card that they thought that should be Priest, or at least it's not worded that way, but actually I think it's probably a card that should be Priest. Rag. How about Rag Light Lord? That's probably a card that probably should have been a priest.
I have enough healing. I don't know. Yeah. you kill a Sylvanas while you have Rag on board.
Yeah.
And you feed them the Alkani as well, and then maybe maybe that works. I don't know. Like I don't know if he's really, because the thing with priests is they have enough healing. The problem is they don't have enough beats down. So I don't really want more flash heals, like, because at some point I just become.
Yeah, but then we can have more. You know, we can have more trolling videos where you're just hurting yourself with Soul Priest on the board and all that good stuff, right?
Let's do that.
We see that already with the Forbidden Shaping. Apparently, there's a Hogger question that was timed out. I don't have no idea what the Hogger question is, guys. So it's not. I didn't actually time out for that one. Let's see. How about one more question? Let's pick a good one. All right, one more question, guys. Somebody type out a question, and we'll call it a day.
Somebody said, "What the fuck? Seriously, why can't we say Hogger?"
Oh man.
GG.
Yeah.
No, but like on a serious note, like I feel like Priest is. Like, there's so many cards that exist in the game that could be given to a certain class or another, but ultimately, like, they've made decisions with Priest design over Nax Promise and GVG that they really didn't expand upon enough in TGT for it to be impactful now. Because with the removal of Nax and GVG, as a Priest class, we lost so much. Other classes got replacements. Like, Totem Golem came out. Like, a lot of really good stuff exists in other classes. To substitute for that, whereas like priests are left with, well, we still play Alkani, Circle, Pyro, Power Shield, Northshire Cleric, Injured Blade Master. That's our core deck, and then the rest is adaptable. We have Entomb, but everything is kind of the same it was like 2 years ago. Again, it's like the priest situation, the druid situation, except we don't beat people.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, how about actually two? How about two more? That's all these questions coming in now. So Carlius Jarlson, I think Jarlson. I think that's how you pronounce it. What are your thoughts on Tinkmaster for attack versus Auctioneer? I mean, I guess Auctioneer, I think it's good in that particular case, but Tinkmaster pretty much sucks against every other deck that's in the meta.
If it was always like 1/1, then I would go for it.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can give your opponent 5/5.
Is it worth making an Auctioneer a 5/5 even though it doesn't draw? It's probably worth still.
Probably
still dead.
You're probably still dead. Yeah, just cold bloods and everything. You probably still die. Yeah. So the answer is probably just no. I think for the most part, just because you don't necessarily play Rogue enough for that to even be good if it was a good play. And okay, last question from Nick 844. Priest, this is actually for you, Noxious. It says Priest as it is now. Would it become tier 1 if the meta became mostly control?
Yes, because Entomb exists, and Thought still exists. Like, it's one of those things where if the metagame settles to control, Priest is excessively. It's toxic. Like, it smothers everything, and I don't like that very much personally. I'm not a big fan of that. But like, when I look at Warrior, they answer N'Zoth decks better than we do. But like, what do you define as a control deck? Do you mean just people who play big late game dudes and control the board until then, or do you mean N'Zoth, where you're not like, you're kind of a control deck, but you also like you've got one big threat that just floods the board? But otherwise, yeah, I'd agree that control metagames just favor Priest anyway. We never get there.
Yeah. You bring up a good question. How do you define a N'Zoth deck?
Or control deck, I guess.
It is a control deck, I guess. It's just like a one-card control deck, basically. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, Zetalot, what do you think? You think the current Priest deck would be tier 1?
Probably, because of Entomb. As long as Entomb exists, then I think so.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, why don't we wrap up the show? And, it's great having you on, Zetalot. Priest, some people would make an argument not lots to talk about, but I think we did a pretty decent job trying to cover everything we could. Needs a lot of help. In conclusion is we need a lot of help, and this has been a recurring topic for I don't know how long now in terms of just the expansions and everything. So hopefully the next one we'll see lots of powerful priest cards. But until then, we'll just have to make the best of it. And I know Zetalot will continue making the best of it on his stream like he always does. But do you have any shout-outs you want to do, Zetalot, before we take off?
Thanks for having me, I guess.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
No problem, man. It's definitely great to have you. And for those of you who don't know your stream, what's your stream again? It's twitch.tv/just Zetalot?
Yeah, Zetalot.
Just Zetalot, okay. So yeah, definitely check him out, guys. And if you want to see top level priest play, it's definitely watch his stream. Noxious, want to do some shout outs?
Shout out to Complexity and to you for putting together the show as usual. That's about it.
All right, cool. And I'll round things out by thanking, obviously, the two of you guys for doing the show. It was a lot of fun. And all of you guys for watching. Ray, again, he'll be back hopefully next week. Just been really, really busy lately. So, yeah, be on the lookout for that. We might start do another one of these shows, just spotlighting a different class. Not sure which class. What class should we do, Noxious, if we do another one? What do you think?
You could do Rogue and bring on, like, Dog.
Yeah, we could do Rogue. All right. Cool. Yeah, maybe we can do that and try to get Dog on it. That sounds a good idea. So, anyways, be on the lookout for that. Those of you that tune in via iTunes, just the audio podcast, be sure to leave a rating, a 5-star rating if you like the podcast. It really helps immensely. I don't have to pay anything. Just leave a review. That's helps in a big way. So. Definitely if you can do that. We also have a Patreon for Valuetown if you want to support. It's patreon.com/Valuetown. And big shout out to some of our patrons, CJ Hines, Michael Lucy, Shane Sherman, Lucas Capdeville, Jacob Sebastian Fell, Gary DeRoche at Atomic Junkie, and Vincent Gobel. Thanks a lot for